You'll have a bit of a think about this third pickup now. They do have to be slightly cautious about how much damage 496 is going to bring with that magic damage up against the Terrorblade.
Mm-hmm.
You pointed it out earlier, but there is quite a lot of it. Surely you just go for the Pos 4 pickup here for jabs. Or go for the Pangolier for now. We don't know where that's going to go yet, but it is a very flexible hero.
Yep, that it is. It could be offlane for Cuckoo, although I somehow doubt that. It might be Jab's hero. It could also be mid for Abed, so there's options there. 496 with a counter pick, though. Bloodseeker coming out to prevent the Pangolier from rolling freely. And so Rolling Thunder going to be harder to commit. Of course, the magic damage Bloodseeker comes with, along with the amp he brings, makes it harder for the Terrorblade to really just stand and fight. It's a great pick in punishing the Terrorblade in that sense. Have to see what they pile onto it. But it's looking pretty good. We've seen Red play a lot of that Bloodseeker here for 496. We'll see if that's going to be the case here. But it's a good back and forth. I'm feeling a bit better for 496. It's much more standard and it's much more playable than, well, than the Pudge. It is just so hard to get your timings right when you had a Pudge support. Really difficult to maximize that hero now.
It is. Ooh, Underlord comes out, so that should be the Cuckoo hero. Obviously very difficult to deal with the Underlord, and it's going to reduce a lot of the damage that 496 can pump out, but they'll go for the OD pickup now. So really focusing in on the Terrorblade. See, the OD has a very, very good time up against the TB, and even the Underlord for that matter. You can just sit there auto-attacking this Underlord, getting those snacks up for your sanities. It can be very effective. And as well as that, you can Astral, so they can't Dark Rift someone away.
Yeah, it complicates things for Among Us. Love it for 496. Hung should have a decent time. We have to see how Among Us close their draft out. I'm expecting it's going to be the Jabs Pango in this case, along with the Abed Hero last pick. So they have to be ready for those matchups. You can see the respect bans coming in now. Storm banned, of course. Probably, I don't think you need to ban the Invoker, but we're going to see if they ban the Ember out, as it has been something that Abed performs very well on as well. A lot of potency here. You mentioned the damage onto the TB, onto the Underlord that the OD can do. You have to remember that it can be amped up, at least the Santies can be with the Bloodseeker. So that's 30% at max. Could be difficult as none of these heroes really have big mana pools as well. So a couple of stacks of the Eclipse buff, and you should be able to rip right through. Gotta be cautious about that if you're 496.
I agree.
If you're Among Us, yeah.
Last ban out. So the Abed heroes getting focused on in that mid lane. So the Storm and Puck being removed here from 496. Among Us, they get rid of the Winter Wyvern and the Timbersaw. 496, final pick. It does feel like they are lacking a position 5. So we are used to seeing the safe lane Bloodseeker, and no, they're going to bring out the Wind Ranger.
Yes.
Things have gotten serious now, so Bombi Wind Ranger, and that could be the safe lane hero here from 496.
Yeah, it is a bit greedy though. I worry about the Veno support. I'm not sure how much impact you expect the Venmancer to have in that position, but Bombi Wind Ranger delivers every time. I'm looking forward to see his performance here. Gives them some great damage coming out, although not particularly great against a TEB or Underlord. In fact, might be difficult getting those early focus fires off to a good start, especially if Cuckoo's around with the Underlords here. The damage output you do get without the Javelin can be lacking, but we'll see if 496 can dance around that timing. Of course, Bombi just plays, we mentioned it in the first game, but he plays a ton of Wind Ranger, and he has a ridiculous win rate. Gotta watch out. It's his special. Among Us now should be the Abed hero. Now, what do you want to lane against the OD? You don't have the mobile heroes left. You have to be aware of the Earth Spirit Silence. So you need something that can kind of deal with that. There you go.
How dare
That's
they?
how you deal with it.
Yeah. Bring out the Brood Mama. As soon as they saw it, 496, they started with the voice lines. That Brood Mother's going to be a real problem here, John. How do 496 deal with this? I mean, they've got wave clear for sure, right? You've got the blood right, you've got the power shot.
Mm.
It's still not that simple, right? Like in the
No.
laning stage, if Hung is going to be on the OD mid up against the Brood Mama, it's a tough one.
It is. It is. Abed can just kind of juggle his spiderlings around away from that astral to prevent too much gold loss. He can start to overtake, and this is where it's a bit wonky for the OD. That lane against the Broodmother is not easy for that hero. They're gonna have to watch because we've seen ODs play from behind. When your Ag's timing's delayed, it's not a good time. You know, you end up having to sit in that jungle. You end up having to play catch up. How do you play catch up against a Brood, though? That's a hero that doesn't give you space to breed. It lines in perfectly with Among Us's timing as well. Can give Savage a ton of room to actually just play farm up and really start to take over. So 496 really have to keep an eye on the mid lane. Perhaps consider red down mid. Bloodseeker against Brood doesn't sound too bad, right? The Blood Right at least forces the Brood Mother to constantly juggle the Spiderlings around, so it might be a bit more difficult to find that lane dominance, but either way, this lane's gonna be hard. It's a really explosive draft from both sides. Oh man, it's gonna be it's gonna be one way to close out that series, Mike.
It is. See if they can take a game off Among Us. Still undefeated. And looking to stay that way, of course. This Brood Mama, of course, again, going to be a big problem here. They've got to figure out a way to deal with it. Do they go for a lane swap instead? Maybe throw Bombi in the mid lane and throw Hung in the safe lane. That might be the way to play it, because at least you've got the power shot to try and deal with the Spiderlings.
No, I think they're gonna put red with the blood right. So it's gonna be that wave clear, it's gonna be forcing the Brood to juggle around, and they go with an early smoke play as well here.
They do this quite often. Abed. That BB's going to have the smoke broken. Goes for the Gale. Into the blood right. Into the roll. And this should be the first blood. A great power shot out. And Red does manage to take it. And that's probably the best start you could ask for if you're 496.
Yep, definitely so. You slow down. You slow down the Brood just enough. You're going to have a nice ramp up here on the mid blood. And that lane is really just not something the Brood Mother wants to deal with for the first 2 levels. You want level 3 to be up until you're comfy. They're still doing that thing with Roche, by the way. They dip in, have a twack. I still wonder why, but you know, whatever keeps them happy, I guess.
We should really ask Whitemon next time we're in the lobby with him why he does that. He'd probably have some ridiculous reason for it, though. Knowing these boys, they do like to have a bit of a laugh in the lobby, not taking anything too seriously on the side of Among Us.
Yeah, but still, you know, this lane up top from 496, this is something they do have to take seriously. Hung with that BB, OD plus Veno. Now this one's actually a bit scary. So you get the Astral off, you land the Gale follow-up, a ton of damage can fly out. Among Us have to be cautious, respect that power spike here, and just try to play it safe. You're 2 melee heroes up against 2 range. There are ways for 496 to dance around this.
There is. Jab's automatically going to go up against that BB on the Veno, but it's tough against the Veno, even for the Pangolier. Jab's not willing to back down, however, will keep right-clicking against that BB, knowing he doesn't have the Poison Sting, but he's going to start to be a little bit cautious here. He's got Swashbuckle in a couple of seconds, but that BB also has the next Gale up. In fact, he's going to throw it out, but Jabs is really playing with fire, but he doesn't connect the Swashbuckle. Oh boy, that's again another great kill up here for 496.
Yeah, they're gonna get themselves a good start. Of course, down mid, while you had Jabs low, Red at level 2 had his thirst pumped up, and you can see that slow start for Abed. He's at 3-0, Red's pushing on at 8-4. Not a good sign for that Brood. Abed's gonna have to ensure his camps are safe to get that steady farm up, because the Brood Mother as well doesn't like playing from behind.
Oh, Bombi. He's killed off Savage. Savage going down at the bot lane on the TB. I didn't quite catch how that happened, but Bombi, you got to keep an eye on this man. he does get quite dangerous. I was just having a quick look at the mid lane, but never mind that, because they might go again. It looks like the side of Among Us won't have the opportunity to try and go for any kind of kill attempt here onto 496, as they don't really have the meta. And 496, however, they want to try and go after Whitemon. Bombi going to protect Yassi to ensure he can get the pull off in time, and Whitemon will not really be able to get it cancelled.
Yeah,
However, roll in, Whitemon gets the magic missile, but still in danger with the power shot out, but no, the neutral creeps. Oh, the neutrals just against Bombi, and well, they deny him off.
Yeah, I'd say that's a win for them. You know, you're stalling out time. Savage isn't free farming, although he is up there in last hits. You are making this lane a lot harder than he'd want. He has to overcome that early death, overcome this magic damage somehow. So 496 actually off to a fantastic start. Mid lane's been going amazingly well for Red. That Bloodseeker Broodmama matchup, it's just so hard for Abed. Like, he comes in, he gets a creep, but he can't really leverage these Spiderlings because the threat of that Bloodrite, and with level 1 Blood Rage, it's a lot of damage on those Spiderling.
Yeah, Red is doing a very good job of zoning Abed out every time he goes for a creep. Bloodrite, Spiderlings have to run. Especially with the range creep, of course, right? Red is always just kind of saving the Bloodrite for the range creep to ensure that Abed is always going to have the XP disadvantage. But bot lane, Whitemon, low. Bombi doesn't have another power shot yet, so he can't go for the snipe onto Whitemon. But he's going to be pretty happy with the amount of harass he's getting out.
Yeah, definitely so. Like, every time you just win a trade like that, you boost up your mid lane matchup, and you just make it easier to even overcome. So 496 still can be glad, and just a lot of pressure, Whitemon.
Gonna go down. Nice play out from Yassi. Well, it's a 0-4 right now. Among Us, they have not picked up a kill yet. It's very, very unusual for this Radiant side.
It's a slower game. They went with a slower draft, and this is what you get when you do have an Underlord off and a Terrorblade safe. They co-opt in a slower start. Now, the Broodmama, it's a fast hero, but its timers are also dependent on certain key items coming out, and you're going to have to wait for that from Abed. So they're just going to have to take their time, try to find as much farm as possible, especially in Savage, which they are, but Savage.
That bot lane, Boulder Smash, be out, but he's going to be okay. They don't want to push it too far here, 496. They've gotten themselves a decent kind of kill lead, and they just want to wait till Bombi gets at least the Javelin up before he gets any more aggressive, because that's going to be the main power spike for this Wind Ranger. As well as that, Yassi, he does go clean up the other bounty runes and gets a nice ward out, but it looks like he doesn't really intend on leaving that bot lane, as there isn't really much to do in terms of roaming. As you know, Abed is just stuck in the jungle right now. He's having a lot of problems getting into the lane to CS, and he will now. But Red has had a pretty decently free time.
Yeah, he certainly has. He's at his level 6 mark as well, so if you do catch that Broodmama out, she can't just run out. Like, the Rupture's going to do a lot of work towards her as well now. And Among Us, you know, they're not lagging too far behind in terms of total farm, but that kill momentum, you can definitely feel it. You can see that 496 is a lot more confident. Hung has had a lot of space up top, although it's not as much gold as you'd expect, but it's certainly a smoother start than you'd want, and there's that Rupture.
He's out on Abed. How does he get out of this one? Roll in from Yassi. Bloodrite, not going to land, but Abed's still in a lot of danger. He's using those Spiderlings to try and zone out Red, and does wait out the Rupture. Now back onto Yassi. Here comes Jabs. They will get the 1 kill, and it looks like 496 are not going to stick around. Abed does successfully stay alive.
Yeah, and that's on the edge kind of play there. He doesn't even have his ult, so he can't turn around and try to man fight up. He just had to dance, and they don't manage to land it. A big, not the biggest, but a nice pickup for the Broodmama to have around her. That does kind of offset that slower start. It's still 1-4. You're still feeling pretty good here from 496, but you need to somehow help Hong recover. I mean, he's going for the Midas build. He's sitting behind Savage, and that Savage with one death with a highly pressured lane. This has been very static for Hong. This is not quite the healthiest of signs, so I think you just have to find a way to accelerate that OD farm, get that fast Ags up. Once you've got this Midas, you should be set for that timing.
Yeah, I mean, the Midas is going to come out now. He just gets enough gold for it. That should allow him to escalate a bit. Because it is a bit tougher when you're in the safe lane and you have to share the XP with your support. But he is level 6 now, so maybe it's about that time he roams into the jungle. But that BB gonna try for a TP out and barely makes it. Luckily for him, the Spiderlings did not get a second attack in.
Yeah, on the edge, but just being a bit disruptive. It's a stall game now for both sides. Of course, 496 trying to get their OD up and running. Among Us just waiting for Savage and Abed ready to go, although they are clumped down bot and White Mon, very deep.
Gassy, nice and aggressive. Bombi, of course, going to land a nice easy shackles into the focus fire. And you do have to be wary, right? He's got the Javelin up. So Bombi's damage is up there now. And this is that point we saw from the last time he played Wind Ranger. He does tend to get aggressive.
Yeah, it just opens up a lot of possibilities for him. They're going to get a good shove in on that bot tier 1, although up top...
Going to go onto that OD. Hung going to be in danger again and doesn't have any defensive item to get him out. And Cuckoo doing a great job in that offlane. Will give the tip over to Hung.
It's They do find that key kill, slowing down that OD. Now, they're not going to be able to trade for a tier 1, so that's a bit of an edge for 496, but you can see Abed, he's ready to rip through. He's at level 9, does a ton of damage already.
It's at that point now where you just can't really contest Abed if you are a support without wave clear. He will always just be able to take you out very easily. You can even throw in the Spiderlings after Red to get a bit of harass in after he's used the Blood Right, and get them out very safely. And now even finding Yassi, who's trying to be disruptive. Trying not to allow Abed to farm freely in the jungle, but there's not really much he can do to slow him down. That's the thing. All he can do is posture.
Yeah, I mean, they've got these good forward wards to keep constant vision on those camps. But if you're focusing on Abed, you're not focusing on Savage. So our Terrorblade now gets to continue to farm up as well up top. And it's like a situation where you have to pick your poison here if you're 496. Do you worry more about the Broodmother short term, or should you be more worried about the Terrorblade long term? Because Savage, I mean, he's still up there in farm. He's not been punished too much.
No, he hasn't. The 496 are still very focused in that mid lane. Perhaps trying to get a push going there, but Savage is going to freely take the tier 1. Now Red in danger as Abed. He's popped the ulti and is going to make the chase onto the Bloodseeker. But the Blood Right will stop him from going any further. It still favors Abed, obviously, even if he isn't able to get these kills going for himself. Just the fact that he's going to be able to farm up so freely on the Spider and get to that late game stage, it does start to become a powerhouse, right? And you stop caring about the Spiderlings at some stage once you've got a few core items up.
Yeah, you do see Bombido switch out his build. So it's not an MKB rush, it does turn into a Maelstrom. Need those chains to come out, that's the wave clear they need on top of it for the Wind Ranger. So it can be a bit more consistent, at least getting that shove off. And you can see they're trying to reveal that with a smoke here.
But who are they going to find? Well, Savage would be a huge pick. They don't spot him out yet. Savage should be safe, but no, they are starting to run towards the TB. Roll, not going to connect, but Savage should know he needs to get out. Boulder smash and a great shackles once again from Bombi into the power shot. Jabs tries to come in and help, and he will Rolling Thunder. He's going to try and set up for some trades, but Red's going to come in with the Rupture. Jabs still rolling with the TP. Is not going to make it. Oh, he tried to roll TP, but the Rupture. So much damage to fly out. And that's 2 big pickoffs for 496.
Yeah, they're going to be very happy with that. That's the punishment we were looking for on Savage. So his start now kind of offset. They've also gotten a lot of space out for Hung in this downtime. Is rushing the Hurricane Pipe first on that OD. So he's going to have mobility for himself, have a way of reaching further in. And 496, they hold on. 3-7. Among Us, we expected a bit of a faster play with the Brood, but it looks like Abed's just going to take his time. He does have the Orchid up, so he might be able to melt some heroes if you're not careful, but he's just applying that steady pressure on the mid-tier 1. Have to watch out for the build-up from 496. There's a Maelstrom now as well on red, so they're consistently piling on the wave clear, piling on the magic damage. They're starting to find answers for the lineup of Among Us.
I mean, yeah, you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. Not only do you deal with the Spiderlings with that Maelstrom, but Savage doesn't like magic damage. The Maelstrom's going to be very effective up against Terrorblade. Still, bot lane Hung has been caught out alone and is not going to have any help coming in. So that's going to guarantee his death. And it's going to be another great kill being set up by Cuckoo on the Underlord. I've got to say Underlord, or Cuckoo rather, on this Underlord has been doing a pretty darn good job.
Yeah, I mean, he's not up there in farm, but he is very impactful. It's not a very passive Underlord. It's one hunting around for kills. And that's what you want to see. Just leverage your durability up for those kills, although.
Yassi, go for a boulder smash, but doesn't connect. Now, roll. Abed has been ruptured, but is still going to be okay as Yassi is going to get blown up. 496, they don't want to fight any further. They're going to run out of there.
Yeah, and the Rupture on Abed doesn't do too much. I think when it comes down to these bigger fights, you actually do have to target jabs. Stop the Rolling Thunder from being a factor. You can get yourself cut down on the headaches once you get that done. So Abed can be happy, although Bombi.
Oh, Abed, you don't want to die like this. He'll go for a run. Bombi, a lot of damage flying out, but he's been silent, so he can't power shot yet. He'll have to try, and he does land it on Bombi! Oh, he got the double kill!
Oh, man.
How does he find these lines?
That's why you don't let him have it. You don't let him have that Wind Ranger. He's too on point. And that's the big kills we were looking for. Abed being punished. The Brood still off to a slower start than you'd expect. Mid lane now under pressure. And 496, they're not building up a massive lead. But the fact that you have a lead up against the Broodmother at this point in the game is already a good sign. And it's really just slowed down Abed
now,
so
John.
much.
They've got that momentum now. Jabs, he's going to be in trouble bot lane. Among Us. Got to try and slow this down here for 496. Jabs, he gets the Rolling Thunder. The Sanities did not connect, and Yassi is going to die, but Red's going to come in. Still, they're going to be careful not to throw too many lives away. And Jabs, a very nice play on the Pango, does get himself out.
Ooh, that's on the edge, really on the edge. 496, not quite managing to find that kill. Unfortunately, they drop a hero as well, so you can see Among Us aren't out of it. It's just the momentum's not quite where they'd want it to be. They need these key items to be up. They're looking for that Manta on Savage into the Scotty. Once you've got that, you've got more stats to play with, more durability. I'd say a BKB is also going to be key. You're looking at Abed as well. He's still saving up for that Ags. And once you have the Ags, you have the control on the map with your spin web spam. It's going to be so important for them to start really locking in 496 because they're still growing big. The Midas from Hung has been paying off. Does have his 4-staff up. It's going to be harder to pin him down. And progress here for Bombi into that BKB is going smoothly as well. So it's still building up steadily here on 496, and you do have to be a bit cautious.
Oh, that Gale connecting on the Spiderlings makes such a loud sound. Top lane, Yassi spotted out, swashbuckling from Jabs with the magic missile, and now the Pit of Malice will mean Yassi is gonna die. Another nice pickup out from Among Us. Where do they head to now? They're wrapping around that Roshan pit, but it's doubtful they go for it unless Cuckoo does feel confident. But no, he's going to TP down to the bot lane, and it looks like they are maybe going to have a look for Hung. Hung already on the retreat. Just back out, and it looks like he will be just fine.
Yeah, it's defensive plays here. 496 do want to wait for those items to be out first. So they'll take their time. They don't want to bleed this lead away. It's a very precarious spot because you lost your mid-tier 1. It was later than you'd want it to be. But still losing that objective opens up map, although Savage.
Spot of trouble. Savage, you don't want to die like this, and he does. Bombi. Gets another one. Savage is having a very tough game now. Still top of the net worth board, but he's died 3 times. They just don't seem to care about his net worth.
It's been a slow start for him. They're still getting the punishment. This is why the BKB has to be key. It's just that it's not going to stop Rupture. That's the big part. So he's still going to be stuck. Among Us need to give him some supports to help him out. But they are kind of just forced to be around the map to stave off that push, to really protect Abed as well. And that's where it's really getting difficult. You've got these 2 cores that need that initial farm. How do you split that farm up now? It's coming. One is coming at the cost of the other, and it's been a back and forth. 496. They still maintain a very slight lead, but you do feel them really just reel in the map control. This is despite not taking that mid-tier 1. They've just got the movement. They've got the vision and the level spikes to dip into that triangle and constantly make it hard to just find recovery farm.
Net worth has been really all over. Still 1k the way of 496. Bombi is about to have that BKB up, so things are looking a bit scarier. Whilst the Mjolnir on red is going to be very effective, as well as his own BKB. Abed just wants that Aghanim Scepter. Savage will work towards that Eye of Skadi. See a Dark Rift coming out, down to the bot lane. Just Cuckoo, bringing in White Mon. They seem to want to push this bottom tier 1 tower, so maybe just wanting to get some pressure out. That'll be the objective. Looks like 496 probably won't try to defend this.
It's a tricky spot, way too far out from the rest of the team. Not the biggest objective to lose. It's been a pretty dead lane. So they could just trade it away, but Among Us is also playing super cautiously. They don't want to give opportunities away, and they're taking it slow. It's a slow siege out, no risks being taken. That does mean, you know, eventually it will melt, but that does give 496 time to roam around as well. They've gotten control of that Radiant Triangle. They're getting the shove in on that top tier 1 as a trade, so they do find something in return.
They do. Even trade between the two. He's going back for the MKB. I like that choice.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need the Mjolnir here. You don't need the active. You don't have as many options. You still want more piercing damage, so that's gonna help massively up against Savage. And if Savage will want to build a butterfly down the line, it's not gonna help him. So have to be aware of that. Have to be very conscious of how Bombi's building up here. The Ags for Abed is about to fly out, so he will start to have even more webs spun. And that should give him more opportunities to split the map up. But we haven't seen the effectiveness of this route at all. Like, I mean, Abed's still doing okay, but you really expect these towers to melt. You expect the pressure to be up and running 20 minutes in, but it's not quite there.
That BB, nice Tinker Ward out. Getting prepared for a defense attempt. Of course, with the Plague Wards, he can delay things quite nicely. They are still going to be just grouping up. Looks like Abed does now have the Ag, so a lot more spider webs to be flying out on the map. And he should feel a lot more comfortable to try and roam around and make some things happen. And actually, a nice Dark Rift into the Rosharp hit with the Spiderlings.
Yeah, it's a sneaky play here for Among Us. It's going to be a quick one. And unfortunately for 496, even if they had a ward outside, there's no way to preempt that one. So a sneaky little Roche for Among Us to help them bounce back. And they're going to be feeling great about that. That's one synergy with Underlord and Broodmother, sneaking a Spiderling around.
We'll get a 5-star tip from Jabs. Very nice from Cuckoo. And again, Cuckoo is just one of those very reliable off-lane players. Very good at his role. Obviously doing the captaining of the team as well, but he just does a great job for his team. Even those small little things like Dark Rifting to the Spiderlings. It's a really nice play, but now 496, even with that Aegis gone, they want to smoke and go for a fight, and they might just run into Savage again.
Oh.
Yes, he can have his smoke broken. He'll go for a roll up to the high ground. Savage not going to be able to react in time, and he's gone. Jumps under. Oh, it's going to be nicely timed. He might have a chance, but no. There goes your Aegis. Now they want to back out. Arbit will roam in onto Bombi, trying to deal with the Wind Ranger, but Savage is falling low and will die to Yassi on the Earth Spirit. Bombi is pretty invincible right now with that BKB active, but Arbit, he's still trying. Is Bombi going to go down? No, he Force-Staffs away and does survive Arbit. He just can't make it happen. Whitemon trying to swap him back in, but this Wind Ranger is going to run away. A 4-for-0 for 496.
Oh, man, it's shaping up way too well now for 496. 7-14. Among Us, with the Broodmother draft, it's not kicking into gear. So many issues they have to correct. When Bombi pops that Wind Run, you don't have anything. You are all about the right click here. There is nothing to pierce through that evasion. MKBs now have to be next after the BKB for Abed. Is there going to be room for it? I'm not sure. The map, it's shrinking down. You're sharing that farming space with Savage as well, who's still trying to finish up that Scotty. He's queuing up his MKB next. It's a bit much. 496, they're starting to hit a massive power spike, 6k up. And if they keep that momentum, Among Us are going to be farm-starved in 2 really heavy cores.
Oh, they are. It's looking real tough for them now. This could be the first game they drop, or maybe not. Yassi going to get pitted Malice up. They do allow Hung to get out of there. Yassi is going to have to accept the fact that he's dead.
Oh, man. I mean, they get that, but Savage loses his courier with a Scotty. And that's gone for 2.5 minutes. So that major spike for the Terrorblade now gone. It's going to be a tough 2.5 minutes. As you know, 496, they're not going to wait around. They're just going to keep this pressure up. And if they catch Savage out, then that would be a lot easier than it should be, considering that item timing.
Yeah, this game is really showing you as well why Savage said that 496 was one of the most annoying teams to verse and see. They are proving to be very, very frustrating here for Savage on that TB. The top lane going to be forced in now, just for free. Nobody going to be there to defend. And that is going to give just about enough gold for Red to almost have that Mjolnir up. He just needs the recipe. Among Us, they were posturing around that dire triangle, but it's not going to work out. They do back off back to their own. And of course, someone has to defend that top lane. It'll be Savage.
Yeah, it's a safe part to farm in. He is making steady progress towards the MKB now. So, you know, they're buying that time here for Among Us. 6k behind is still not a good spot to be in with a Brood Mama, but Abed does have level 18. Max level Insatiable Hunger now in play. I would like to see him hit his level 20 talent. That's when you start to feel a bit better on Brood. And once you hit 25, you can consider that like a second spike. But it's going to be a while. And 496, still feeling confident. They invade the triangle. That does make it complicated for Among Us. They're playing on the opposite side of the map.
Tried to go onto Yassi, but Yassi does have the Yule Scepter, so he can purge off the Orchid. Now bot lane, Bombi, he's onto Cuckoo. Cuckoo's trying to Dark Rift. He gets Yuled up. Does he have time to get out of there? The Sanities? No, he will not make it, and now another Shackles out onto Jabs. Oh boy. 496, they're feeling it now. Savage.
Oh,
It's the alright. Whitemon does go down to the Venge. Nice swap out. And we do have a quick pause now from Among Us. This is the problem when you're versing 496. When you give them a bit of momentum, when they get the ball rolling, it is very hard to slow them down.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to overcome this 8k gap. You just expect so much more coming out from Brood. Abed has just not been able to apply that pressure in the towers, force the responses on the map that you'd want to. And that's really just down to these natural counter picks. The Blood Seeker, picking the Brood into Blood is just so strange. Like it just gives so much value for Red, and it 496 now, dominant position to be in. They've got the BKB on Hung for a while now. He's going for a Sight of Vice. There's that Scotty up in Savage, so he's got a bit more stats to play with. Does have some breathing room in terms of fighting up now, but without the BKB, it's going to be tricky. He needs the MKB as well to actually do the damage. just so much farm that you need to work towards. That there is no room here. Look at the positioning 496 in that Radiant jungle, taking over. How do you farm these two heroes now on Among Us' side? There's just not going to be enough for the next few minutes.
That T2 tower won't last long. MKB on the way for our Wind Ranger now. That's going to be really scary. I mean, Maelstrom MKB procs on a Terrorblade, both of which do magic damage. Oh man, Savage. He's not going to be happy. He needs that BKB up. Savage is working towards an MKB of his own to try and hit the Wind Ranger through that Wind Run. Just, it's going to be more about survival.
Yeah. I mean, I think survival is okay for Savage. We've seen him play on the edge with his Sunders. He just needs to ensure that he does something in that life. It's very difficult. No one can do anything to the Wind Run. They just don't have magic damage for it. Like, you went all in on physical. You got the Firestorm. Sure, it's not going to burn her down fast enough. And, you know, they're just using this time to farm. 496 is happy to trade farm. You've still got Hung keeping pace with Savage. There is that, but you get worried. Once that Hex is up on Hung, the Site of Vice, the control he brings out is gonna really hammer it in on Among Us. And it's just hard. It's a hard game set to get harder. Among Us are playing it right. They're sticking together while farming. They have to just play it safe. This is all you can hope for now.
Top lane. Among Us, try for the push. The TP's out. They're not going to see these TPs happening, so Yassi won't bother trying to roll in. Now does when his team's with him, but it's too late. What do you care, right? Like, you're still extending this net worthly if you're 496. It doesn't really seem to bother them.
No. They have nothing to be bothered by. Like, they get the smoke up. They've got the Santies back up. They can try to make some plays. Of course, I believe that was under an OBS, so that does mean Among Us should be aware there's a smoke play coming out.
Clears out the Spiderlings there, Yassi. A lot of gold for himself. Gonna wrap around through the river. Bombi with that MKB. We haven't seen his damage quite yet, but I imagine it will be pretty high. Was Hung with his BKB and the Hex to be worked on. Gonna run into Jabs. Yassi will slow him down with the Boulder Smash. They retreat, looking for a better kind of initiation for 496. They don't want to take it with the low ground. Now counter smoke out. Among Us, they pop the meta, so they want to try and force a fight with this. They could also opt for the Roshan play, and that seems to be what they're trying for.
Yeah, it's gonna be another sneaky Roche. 496 is a lot closer this time, though. Should be aware of it, and they actually don't.
Outpost? It's about 10 seconds to 30 minutes. They haven't even got a T2 tower, so they can't do that. Okay, so just changing farming locations. However,
yeah,
Jabs.
Place.
Oh, ruptured up with the Rolling Thunder. He'll try for the TP, but Yassi gonna use him up. Jabs is gonna end up dying to Hung on the OD. And, well, the only thing Among Us can do right now is just try and split push that top lane. And that's exactly what they will do with the Savage Illusions. And 496 probably really not going to care, considering they do already have the bottom tier 2. Or maybe they do. They TP in. Tier 2 does go down, but they're going to have a gander here. Looking for Cuckoo, silencing him up. And Bombi will take the kill with the power shot. And that might just be Roshing time now.
Yeah, I mean, that's two heroes down. They've got such a big lead now on momentum as well. There's a blink on Bombi that comes in so he can initiate better, and that Roche does not last long with its damage coming out here.
Red will go pick up the Aegis. Smoke up. Yassi gonna have a roll in. He is gonna spot out Whitemon. They want a bit more than that. Yassi will just keep rolling to connect with the Yules. He doesn't really have any boulders on him apart from that one he just kicked away, but it's going to be enough to kill off Whitemon while the rest of the team are going to chase down Savage. There is Bombi with the focus fire. Savage with the BKB trying to get out, and he barely does make it. That was his 10-second charge.
Not the way you want that. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do, but as that ticks down, 496 are going to be happy with the shorter BKBs. They're going to keep that damage up. Even Abed popping it as well.
Oh, it's his 10-second charge as well.
Yep.
Oh no, that's not good.
No, it's going to be tough now. 9 seconds is still long, but it's never a good feeling. They're still trying to keep up with farm here, and Abed has gotten a lot of space for himself. Gonna have to make that matter. He is building into that site of vice as well, so looking for that additional control, but it feels like you're missing the timing here on the Brood. You're not overtaking as much as you'd want, so we'll see if the investment on Abed is gonna pay off. While you stall, it's just recovery, and Savage is still number 1, right? So maybe 496, they're still feeling confident in that Terrorblade.
For the first time this game, loop-bet odds are going the way of 496. They are still very, very close, but they do finally take...
Oh, Savage? No.
He's shackled up by Bombi.
Solo.
Jabs, gonna go for the roll TP out of there, will make it out. But Savage, gonna go down to the win range.
No, you can't have that happen. And Bombi, the patience to just hang around there such a long time to get that done. That is a massive piece of pain for Among Us. Savage is sort of their win condition now, right? He's number 1 net worth.
Yassi.
He needs to be bigger. He does have the MTG.
Yassi's having a gander down bot lane, and Bombi is going to be there with the focus fire. Abed trying to run, but Bombi is going to be able to follow, so they get the swap out in time. Abed is going to survive, but Whitemon, of course, will have to die. And now, Red, he goes for a rupture. Onto Cuckoo, diving the tier 4 towers. Red, I'm not sure about this one. He will have to let him go. Gonna be a bit cautious there as Jabs. He does have a basher up on that Pango. But 496, they want to try for the high ground.
And why not? There's no ult out, no rolling thunder to be scared of. The Firestorm is hurting their wave though, but slow and steady. They can do some chip damage here.
They can. They don't want to lose a team fight here, 496. Otherwise, there will be a lot of gold and XP going back to Among Us. And Among Us are quite desperate for that team fight win. Bombi tried for the shackle, the illusion doesn't get it. Now needs to back off as Jabs is going to rolling thunder through, but he will also retreat. Both teams understanding that one team fight could be the change this game needs. Bombi, he's been hexed up. Abed moves in with his new side device. It's still not going to be enough. Bombi does get the BKB off now with the great shackles, but it's not going to latch. The BKBs were there in time from Savage and Abed. Yassi is going to be the first to go down. 496, the rest of them, they will immediately TP out. And so they do get at least a support Earth Spirit for their trouble.
Yeah, it's something. You'll take what you can get here if you are Among Us. They do manage to hold on to their high ground off the back of that, so overall, it's still a success. Now you start to see that Abed does need an MKB, so he's going to have to farm that next, just to ensure he gets the hits off. Savage, for his part, once he has that Linken's, you're going to feel a lot safer. You're not going to be
they're going for a fight
down at all.
Yeah, Hung, he's got a sight device up on that OD, trying to go after Cuckoo, but doesn't really deal enough damage to Cuckoo. Red, gonna move in. Won't rupture. Shackles is there from Bombi, but a swap out onto the Pangolier, so Jabs will get out in the Dark Rip. Is gonna be there from Cuckoo. They will be able to escape.
Yeah, it's the BKB use though from Abed, but that does give them time to reset. 496 have to be a bit careful. You have spell uses out waiting here for Among Us, but they still have the hammer. Hung has not
swap in. They've got Red. Now Pit of Malice on the side device, and that's going to stop the push. Nice play out from Whitemon. Abed can make a bit of a chase here, see if he can catch somebody else out with that Hex. It's going to be a few seconds away, but no, he's not going to be able to. Or maybe Hung is being slowed by those spiderlings, but Yassi going to silence up Arbed and try to force him back. Still, Hung taking a bit of damage from that reflection, and Arbed still just hiding around. Now the bash coming out from Jabs. Hung still has the Astral being kicked away from Yassi. Now Yassi might just drop here on the Earth Spirit, but they still want Hung on that OD, and they might eventually get him, and they do. Even Yassi going down, and man, Arbed, he had to work for that one. But it was worth so much gold that it was well worth it. Yassi, oh, that's not the roll. He's been silenced up now, and Arbed wants to have a chase. Yassi, it seems like he's trying to buy time as Bombi is going to come in now, back onto Arbed. He doesn't have enough damage yet. Bombi, got to be careful for Savage. He's hitting like a truck. He's got that MKB up. Now Savage suddenly going for the high ground attempt against 496.
496 have to be cautious. They need to buy the time for the OD to be up. That's how they deal with Savage now, but no buyback. 40 seconds is a long time.
Gonna buy more time. Right, gonna get the rupture off. It's gonna be on Arbed, but he does pop the ulti. Heal himself up to Mats. They want this Rax while they're here. They're not planning to back off, but Shackle's not gonna land on Savage. He'll be alright. Pit of Malice is there. They do kill off that BB. It's a great start. They'll get the Rax, and they just want out of here. Everyone in the Dark Rift, everyone is gone. Cuckoo, once again, setting up his team for success.
Oh man, a lot of this is actually coming off the back of Jab's Basher. Like, that chase that got them the big kill on Hung was down to the bashes he was getting off. Just, if he didn't get the bashes, they would have probably not found that kill. Big bounce back for Among Us suddenly on top. Well, not quite, but 1k behind 496, but a Rax up. Feeling good about that. And Savage now on the TB. I mean, he's been #1 in net worth. Now it starts to play, right? He's got the BKB, the MKB. They can do the damage. He can just focus in. Now the key thing is to play around Metamorphosis. If 496 catch that Terrorblade while that's down, that could be a moment of weakness. So Among Us have to be disciplined around that timer, and 496, they have to be aware of that timer. Punish when they know Metamorphosis fades. It's a big opening for them. Hung can still do a lot of damage. We just need to see him get enough stacks up to get the Santies off.
Looks like Bombi's going to be working towards that Octarine core now on the Wind Ranger, so just wanting those even lower cooldowns. Essentially going to allow her to have just permanent wind run. And as well as that, you do also obviously get a nice low cooldown Shackle. As if it wasn't low enough at 7 seconds. It'll be even lower. And his level 25 talent gives a cooldown reduction. Still mid lane, all they caught. It's going to be Yassi, but he'll be Astraled up. Now the Poison Nova, and Whitemon will die. Arbed still pops the BKB, wanting to fight up against Red with the Dark Rift. He's going to be there from Cuckoo. They want to get out of here, and they do. So Yassi and Whitemon going down. It was a dieback on Yassi. It's well worth it for Among Us to just take the kill and back off.
Yeah, but they do smoke up. They do have Metamorphosis on Savage. They might want to pull a sneaky one here. 496 have to be a bit cautious. If they get caught unaware, this would be a big win for Among Us.
The net worth is basically just dead even now as well. It's not like you have that 10k advantage that you did a second ago. They do get a DD rune on red. Roshan, 25 seconds away from spawning. That BB may get caught out and dunks. Nice bit of Malice, nice bash out from Jabs. Arbed will pick up another one on the Brood, and they are just going to stick around and wait for this Roshan to spawn up.
Yeah, and you've got some major progress here for Savage as well. Abyssal now up on our Terrorblade. The control flying in from Among Us starting to look overwhelming. They've got that sight, they've got the Abyssal, they've got the Basher and Jabs. If you get caught out in one bad stun, it could be big.
I think they can allow this Roshan to go. Only issue being is you can't really fight 5v3 for 496, so they have no choice in the map. It'll be a free Roshan, a free Cheese, and the Aghanim Scepter. Which I wonder who they give that to.
Yeah, it's a bit open, I guess.
Whitemon.
Yeah, Whitemon.
Okay.
I mean, the fear is really nice if you get an offensive swap. even a defensive one is going to be big. So it's going to be a lot more utility there. There's
Look at
that
this jump.
Octarine you mentioned.
It was
So
a cooldown.
yeah, yep, Octarine plus Quickening Charm plus the level 25, 3.9 with a 4.6 shackle duration. Sounds balanced to me, Mike.
Basically, basically got 100% uptime on all his abilities for Bombi. His power shot even less than 6 seconds now. Still, Among Us in a very, very powerful position.
So this whole mess is all your fault?
That is what you sound
They're
like.
still giving it to each other, these two. As Red is going to go up and spawn out Savage, but he's in danger now. Tries to BKB and will go down. So Red's gone. Savage with that meta wants to keep this fight up, so he'll turn onto Yassi, who does roll away and does get the Yules off to avoid a lot more damage. But they've left someone behind, and that is going to be that BB. He was trying to kill off Whitemon. He does not get away with it. Whitemon does survive in... No, he doesn't. He does eventually tick out to the poison damage. So 1 for 1. They still want to pressure this tier 2 bot tower as Yassi going to show himself, but he does get rooted up. Still trying to get out of here. Abed will block the other way, and the roll will not be enough. That BB, he just fought back, wanting to fight back, but this is not looking great as Bombi. He focus fired an illusion. It's not looking good for him. Hung, that was not the sanities they wanted. And now Savage, he can jump in and clean up with Arbet. They will get 2 more. And Bombi is the only one allowed to run out of there. And it looks like Among Us, they have had enough of this game. They want to finish it, but they won't get the opportunity. Still Bombi goes in and cleans up jabs now. Back into the mid lane. They'll get a secondary racks for their trouble. Ping's coming out on Savage, but it's going to be very hard to take him out. But a great shackles once again from Bombi. Still not going to be enough, but the focus fire is there. He's focusing him down. Savage will go for the Abyssal Blade. Now the Sunder, but Savage still unhealthy. Does lose the Aegis, but Bombi loses his life. And that'll be GG. There are no buybacks left, and they'll call it. Among Us make the comeback happen.
Oh, man. Oh, 496. They showed up here. Bombi doing the work. But it wasn't enough, Mike. Among Us, they held out. They had faith. And this time, one bad fight, 496 turned it around. Among Us bounced back in and do manage to maintain that undefeated streak in spectacular fashion. 496 made it really hard. That's a close series. But they just look unbeatable, Mike.
I mean, I dare say, and again, I don't know if my memory is serving me correctly, but I dare say that was probably the closest they've come to losing so far. The side of Among Us. I mean, the mid lane looked pretty bad. Like Arbed was struggling on the Brood. 23 Savage was having a real rough time. He died 5 times this game. 496, they looked so close to taking it. But of course, well played to Among Us. Still an undefeated team throughout these group stages, and well, we'll have to wait till tomorrow to see if anybody can take a game off them. In fact, no, we can't even wait till tomorrow because... No, we can. They are in the first series. Never mind. Still, we'll go on to our next series of the day. It is going to be 0-3-2 up against TNC for our third matchup. It's MLP Dota and JohnXFire, and we'll see you again in about 10 minutes for that series.